What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of 30 NSG. On today's show, the light news story day. So we have a couple of stories. We're gonna watch the Star Wars Hunters Nintendo review of the Switch. So the Star Wars Hunters Nintendo Switch review. We're gonna talk about the Acolyte review. We're also gonna talk about as players struggle to sign in to Bungie's Destiny 2 to Final Shape launch, as Hal says it was fixed, or it is fixed, but still a problem at launch. So we'll talk about that as a news story from PC Gamer. And then there was a tweet last night that I went over. If you guys were here for the Fallout 76 stream last night, afterwards I talked about a little tweet that came out from Colt Eastwood. It was actually I thought it was a good tweet. Okay? It was just showing stats from the beginning of the console cycle this year, 2020, of PlayStation 4 and Xbox Series S and X. And it showed all the games that came out for both consoles and what their OpenCritic score was. So then we had a little bit of fun because people were like, well, that shouldn't be on there. That's a remaster. Let's get rid of this. So we're going to have a little fun with that today and see what the final score is for both of them, from what his tweet is to after we remove certain games because they didn't own the company, or it's not a first-party title, or it's a remaster or a remake. We'll see what's left over and see what the score is. So we'll do that today as well. If you like what we do here, we go over news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We're going to start off... I think we're going to start off with the Destiny story. What's going on, El? What's going on, Travis? Eclipse. Crowded House. Dave Rose. Sarge, what's going on? Z, good morning. Ron Slusher, good morning. Ron's like, console wars, baby! Yeah. Not really console war, but it's more of a... Because I'm not one side or the other. I actually like that tweet because it shows exactly that... People say that this sucks or that sucks, and really, they're both right there with each other. So we'll go over that. Travis says, and yet somehow the reality is that tweet was fine as it was. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just as the tweet was, I thought was great. But then the console warriors come in. And they're like, well, that doesn't count because you can't give them that point. You can't take this out. I'm like, all right, well, if we take that, we have to remove this. And they're like, okay. So that's exactly what we're going to do. What's going on, Mo? That's exactly what we're going to do. All right. So the first story this morning is from PC Gamer. It's Destiny. As players struggle to sign in, miss cutscenes, and are kicked from activities, Bungie apologizes for Destiny 2's Final Shape launch issues and begins to rolling restart. Okay. Now, I thought this was idiotic, not from Bungie's point of view, but from just how infatuated or how, what's it called? How people are so addicted to Destiny 2, Destiny in general. Or just any video game, right? Remove Destiny from this. A new game comes out, the servers are down, and people are just sitting there, just pushing the button, trying to get into the servers because they have to play today. They have to play today because otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. That type of scenario, right? So yesterday, the Final Shape released. Okay, the Final Shape released, and everybody everywhere was trying to get in, and nobody could get in. You would go to Twitch to see the directory, and everyone was just on a error screen. Hours went by, okay? And they're still trying to get in, and when one person got in, they got excited, but then they would get mad, they would get kicked out, and all that stuff. So if you like what I do here, we have a conversation, we talk about news stories, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern, okay? So the last chapter of Destiny 2, Light and Darkness Saga, is here with the launch of the expansion of the Final Shape. At least it's here for some people, okay? This was obviously from yesterday. Now, it might be fixed today for some people, and everyone might get in, but we're just reading the story for what it is, okay? Others had difficulties logging in, been kicked out of the part of the way through the activities, it's been able to play it, only to realize they haven't been seeing any cutscenes that are supposed to be shown. At the end of some of the missions, if you didn't see a fancy cutscene at the end of the missions 1, 4, 5, 6, or 7, I'm afraid you've missed out. It's okay. Imagine this, though, right? Imagine this. You're so hyped up. 10 years, you're looking for this game. You're looking to get all the cutscenes. You're playing it for the story, right? You're playing for the story. You're playing for just the gameplay. You miss the cutscenes, and now you're just basically the same person that didn't buy the game, and they can just go to YouTube and watch the cutscenes after the fact. You know, that's a little, that would piss me off a little bit, okay? So Bungie has apologized for these problems and spent the day working on a fix them, saying on Twitter that its connection issues have blocked you from playing or enjoying the final shape today. We want to apologize. We're hard at work trying to resolve each of these issues quickly as possible, and many of these connection issues from the morning have already been fixed. Okay. Errors with the cutties, codename Honeydew or Plum, have been fixed over the course of the day, with later updates saying that the errors with the codename current was also result if players being kicked are the highest priority and issues to resolve. That resolution requires rolling server restarts, which are going apparently the Cabbage and Weasel errors are next. Players who missed the cutscenes have been told, as a temporary workaround, you can replay the mission by accessing the replayable mission. Well, that's nice. Node in the middle of the pale heart map. Or you could just go to the search for them on YouTube, of course. And then I think this is beautiful. I think this is beautiful because how Destiny started 10 years ago was, if you want to know more about the game, you got to go to a third-party site. And the way it ends is, if you want to see the cutscenes that you missed, go to YouTube. Fucking A. Amazing. Okay. I thought it was funny that everyone was like, you know, this is broke, can't get into the server. And this is how not only Destiny, but other games in the past have been, where day one, every time you go play a brand new game that's super hyped, okay, that you're going to have problems. You're going to sit in a queue. You're going to have issues with the game. You're going to get disconnected. This happens day one, but yet I'm always amazed that people will sit there and press A to get into a game they can't play over and over for hours and hours on end, instead of just playing one of the 100, if not thousands of games that are out there that you can play, right? And I know someone will be like, well, none of those games are good. Well, you were just playing one just yesterday, whatever that game was, and now you're not playing any game today, and you're hoping that the game that you want to play is going to work, but it doesn't work, and yet you're going to sit there and bitch about not working instead of just going to play a different game. It's crazy to me. It's also crazy to me that 10 years after the fact, that Destiny started the way it ended, okay? It's just not in the game. You're just going to have to go to the third-party site or YouTube to watch it. Here's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do here. If you like what I do here, also check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. I think it's funny, chat, that again, this happened yet again. 10 years later, still problems. Still problems. And they don't need to fix it, because they know hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people will be there pushing A, waiting to start the game to get into the game. Right? People used to wait in orbit for hours. Okay? Used to go outside. Yeah. Nope, not anymore. Just keep hitting that button. Brandon House says, well, Mike, one of the problems is Bungie's fault for whatever reason. They only have people 3 days to prepare for the raid this season. I mean, these are first world problems, aren't they, Crowded? Now it's actually 2 days. 2 days, right? I think Rick Kakis said there were supposed to be 3 days, but now there's 2 days because half the people couldn't get in yesterday. So now they've already tarnished the raid. They've already tarnished the raid, because no matter what happens now, whoever got in early has an advantage over people that didn't get in early. Right? Kylo says, we're sorry that we got everybody's money, and we have to make sure the shop is working on par before we fix any game issues. Sarge says, unstable day one release. This is unbelievable. I can't believe something like this even happened. I'm so shocked. I've never felt like this before. I'm so overwhelmed. Sarge, you didn't put the sarcasm. You didn't put the sarcasm there. You didn't put the sarcasm there. It's the Joker emote. It's a Joker emote. Water Bear says, good morning, all. Good morning, Water. Good morning, Wonder Rose. Dave Rose says, Bungie should have been better prepared for the masses trying to play it and not their first rodeo. And that's really what the problem is, Rose, right? Like, how does a company that's been out for 10 years have the exact same problems that they had 10 years ago? I guess watching on YouTube sounds like the best option. Yeah, right, Eclipse? Like, think about that. Like, well, your problem is if you can't get it and see your cutscenes, you could play that mission again. You could do it again. Sorry for our mess up. Oh, by the way, you can just watch it on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. Hope those who are interested can get in and play soon. Yeah, no, I hope everyone can get in, right? Again, this is me not shit-talking Sin, anybody that likes Destiny. It's really shit-talking Bungie and the fuck-ups they do every single time, and everyone always forgets it. It's like going on a roller coaster, right? It's always like going on a roller coaster. You have to wait in the hot line, right? Long waits. But then once you get on the ride, you're like, woo! You're super excited. You get off the roller coaster, and you're like, let's do it again. You're like, oh, this sucks. I got to wait in this queue. I got to wait in this line. And then the ride breaks down because you're next in line, right? It breaks down. They're like, and you're like, what? I can't hear. They're saying, you're like, okay, it's time to break down. We're gonna wait. We're gonna walk away. You come back an hour later. It's still broke. You still can't get on the ride. That's exactly what it is. Water Bear says Final Fantasy 14 works, at least until Dawn Trail releases. I expect the same old server shit. It happens every time. Here's the two things. If you're a gamer right now and you're playing a game that's online and it's a popular game, do not play day one. Because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Anthem didn't work. Grand Theft Auto 4 didn't work. Grand Theft Auto 5 didn't work. I was expecting some issues, but not that bad. I mean, literally someone said in our chat the day before, everyone's like, I'm so excited about Destiny. This was on Monday. I'm so excited. Tomorrow I get to play. And they're like, there's going to be server queues. Somebody said it in our chat. They did a prediction. They're like, well, good luck on the servers tomorrow. How do they know that? Everybody should know that. Everybody should know that, especially if you're a Destiny player. I can't remember a game that had amazing server launch. I know one. Not amazing, but it worked day one. Diablo 4. Diablo 4 on day one, Water, worked. The servers actually worked. Dave Rose says, I never sit and wait in a queue. I give it 10 minutes, and I'm not playing by that. I'm gone. I'll play the game on my backlog. That's it. That's exactly how it should be, Rose. If people had bought more from the Eververse, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah. That's what they should put in a blog post. Well, because you guys didn't buy enough from the Eververse, that's why the servers were down. It's a good thing nobody with a brain plays Destiny 2, right? Come on, Travis. I'll criticize people playing. Go play a good game. Right House says Disney gets you on that VIP pass. That's right. The big brain thing to do is actually play either an early release or day after official release. That's right, Water. Concord is basically 5v5 Destiny. Yeah, they removed the other part of the game, and it just made the just the PvP section. Concord is Destiny PvP. That's exactly what it is. Oh, I stopped taking off work years ago for Destiny. Oh, remember that? People are like, I took off a week. Game couldn't get in. They're like, It's like, man, take the second week off. Take the second week off. Diablo 4, I couldn't get in for 5 hours. Wasn't Diablo... Am I wrong here? Wasn't Diablo 4 one of the smoothest launches? I'm sure people had problems, Water, but I could have sworn that Diablo 4 had, like, really smooth launches compared to everything else. Water Bear says Concord is going to bomb. It should be canceled. It's going to be very interesting. That's a whole different conversation I would like to have, right? But I got to look up all the other games. All the PvP multiplayer games that are all competing for that time slot. You know what I mean? Your time. There's so many games. Ron Slusher says, just give me Titanfall 3, Bad Company 3, and Bloodborne Remaster. Kyle Green says, I was kind of flabbergasted that you have to buy the 3 Kingdom Heart games for PC separately. I thought it was just a bundle of them, all for $60. But they're, I mean, you could well, I was gonna say you could probably get them on discount for console, but you want to play them on PC, so. Hell, I remember people taking off work for raid releases, much less expansions. Yeah. God, that feels like an eternity ago, doesn't it, Brain? Barbear says, the hero shooter is being held down by Apex Legends. Unless you can make a game that tops that, your game will fail. I mean, you have Apex, you have Tarkov, right? Regardless if it's a extraction or hero shooter or whatever. You have Valorant, you have CSGO, you have Apex, you have Fortnite, you have Call of Duty. Now you have X Defiant, you have Marvel Rivals coming out, you have Overwatch 2, you have whatever this game, Concord, you have Hunters that we're going to watch, it's on the Switch, right? Like, obviously that's not competing with anybody, but there's so many games like this. Rainbow Six, right? Like, who? Gray, Urban Warfare, PUBG. Yeah, there's so many games. You have to be insane to come out with a game right now like that. Marathon's coming out, right? And what I don't understand, Sony's strategy here, is that they're bringing Concord out. They have Destiny PvP, but they don't want to put money into that, right? They rather put it into a separate game of Marathon. Cool. Right? They have Concord coming out. It's like, what are you doing? And like I said on GXG last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe they don't need those million people playing one game. Maybe they need 1 million people playing 5 games on that platform, you know? Magic Dolphin says, my new IP did come through yesterday. Wait, ISP did not come through yesterday. Today, I have it, and the servers for Bungie will be just fine. Kyle Green says, glad to hear it, Dolphin. I wasn't able to play the first mission until 11 p.m. What time did it launch? What time did it actually launch, Kylo? That would piss me off, man. But I know better now. I've learned. I've adapted. I've evolved. Maybe it's because the other contract's tied to Destiny. Marathon lets them go to a specific direction. Sure. Okay, so it came out at 1 p.m. and you got to play it 10 hours later. Awesome. Awesome. I hope that the expansion is very good for the people that are playing, that wanted to know. And then I would like to know, I'll just watch it on YouTube, though. I want to know the culmination of the ending of Destiny. Like, how, that's a lot of pressure, right? Do they leave it open-ended, or does it end and, like, hard end? Like, this is it. Traveler's done, gone, whatever it is. Later, Travis. It's just strange that you can't load into the story modes without using the full-on servers. You can in Destiny 1. Oh, so you haven't played in a while, Kylo. Dolphin says, just wait a day. This happens. This has happened every year for 10 years. Stop touching the hot stove. It's exactly right, Dolphin. Exactly right. Like, God damn it, that thing's hot. Oh shit, it's hot. It's still hot. It's still hot. All right, next day. Oh God, it's like, stop it. Stop it. Stop touching the stove, you moron. Brain says that they put Cade 6 in a female bot. I feel like they would. I have no idea. Travis, wouldn't that be funny? They're like, the end of Destiny, they're like, only you can. And that's it. It freezes. You're like, 10 years? 10 years? No, better yet. This is what it is, Travis. They're like, I don't have time to explain what I don't have time to explain. That is the way it ends. That is the way Destiny 2 ends. I will piss myself if that's the way the last line does. That would be fucking hilarious. Eastside Vandal says, remakes, remasters, uninspired games of service. This is Jim Ryan's PlayStation, baby. Mokoki says, watched a little bit of Ren's review of a stream of Final Shape yesterday. He had problems getting in and then quit out of boredom about an hour and a half later. Story is getting the band back together. Now, I don't know that person that you're talking about, Mokoki. Is he a person that's played Destiny from beginning to end and like was like a diehard fan, or is he a person that came in later? God, can you imagine? Like, all right, we killed the bosses. So what does it all mean? I don't have time to explain, but I don't have time to explain. You're like, son of a bitch. Yeah, I played D1 Alpha. Okay. Final battle screen goes black. You come to it, and it's exact scene replayed. Oh, replay. You just start back at the Cosmodrome, right, Brain? You black out and you wake up and your ghost finds you, and you're like, it's like No Man's Sky, like Starfield. Bungie will be handing off Destiny well before it ends, just like Halo. No, I seriously would like to know what the ending is. I'll wait like a week or so. I'll look it up on YouTube. It'll be something. It's going to be something. It better be. It's just really hard, right? No matter what story you're telling, something that's been the culmination of 10 years, right? It's really hard to really like capture everything in the game and give a good ending. It's like a TV show, right? Like a TV show that's been out for 10 years, 15 years on the air. You're like, oh, it's the last episode, and then the last episode, you're just like, that's the ending? That's how you end the show? Dolphin says, the funny thing is, no time to explain is the stranger's exotic gun. Oh, yeah, we know that. Who knows? It's almost 100% confirmed that they are working on D3. I mean, they would have to, right? That's all they're known for. They lost their first IP of Halo. They almost lost Destiny to Activision. Can you imagine in a world just 5 years ago that Bungie almost lost Destiny to Activision, and then right now Microsoft would own Destiny again? Could you imagine that? They got away from Microsoft. They went to Activision, almost lost it to Activision, and Activision gets picked up by Microsoft. They could have actually lost a second IP to Microsoft. That would have been nuts. They'd be like, son of a bitch. And then whatever game they come out with next, to be like, we're not giving it to Microsoft. Obviously, we're not in that time frame. We're not in that multiverse, right? Now Sony owns it. Gonna be a cliffhanger for an announcement for D3. Perhaps. Let's go on, Argus. Go on, Quintar. I was just watching Leopard, and he saw a crazy-ass cutscene, so I hope it ends well, okay? I might need to try the new No Man's Sky. Looks interesting. Also got to check out the scribing of the ESO, skill customizing. Just going through a New Game Plus in Starfield to prep for Shattered Space. I got to go back and play. It's like I got into the next universe, but I didn't do anything after that. From the cutscene I watched, it's so far very solid. Destiny's never been, or I should say Bungie has never been bad with, look, the story is fine. The cutscenes are amazing. The gunplay feels amazing. the business model just sucks ass. Right? They might still lose it to Sony. Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying in another universe, they almost lost it to Microsoft again. GameSpot just came out with the video, how Destiny barely survived 10 years. Mr. Popo says, what are your predictions of Xbox conference June 9th? I don't really have predictions for that. I'm not going in as a person looking for anything. I'm just looking for good games, Mr. Popo. I think I'm most excited just to see what games they're going to announce to us, like just in the future, not this year. And I'm also interested in seeing, like, my most anticipated thing to see, it has nothing to do with Xbox or Sony or anything. It is, I want a cutscene of some sort of update to Transformers Reactivate. That's what I'm most excited about. And then if they perhaps show something on that, everyone's talking about the handheld, which I don't think is a Xbox handheld. I think it's Xbox teaming up with someone to do a handheld. Carter House says, I can't lose Destiny to Sony. Sony own them. No. They can. They have the option, right? They have the option. They haven't bought them out completely just yet, right? At least that's what I heard last. Unless something has changed, Paul. They haven't. They don't own the IP. They have. Okay. Servers are stable. The campaign was really good. Good to hear. Hope they shadow drop Towerborn. That looks good. That looks so good. Let's see. The internet, obviously, saying what it's saying. They're saying Bungie owns the IP, but Sony owns Bungie. And I get... In 2022, Bungie merged with Sony after spending almost 10 years. Destiny IP. Destiny 2 is an incredibly popular game with a dedicated fan base. So, the last thing that I've seen, Paul... Okay, and this is from December 6th. From December 6th. It says, Bungie is still technically considered, at least as far as the contract is concerned, a fully independent subsidiary of Sony. Has that changed? So does Sony 100% own Bungie now? Water says, the Xbox handheld makes as much sense as the Xbox fridge. Because you also look at look of it. Same as with the Portal. If you want a handheld, just use your phone or tablet. Paul says the agreement is Bungie's board get to keep their jobs as long as they hit the targets. Bungie has to meet consistent financial goals to keep control of the IP. Yeah, if anyone's got a BJ's membership, you can get a MetaQuest 2 for $100. Oh wow. Okay. The agreement that Bungie still runs everything, and that they are in danger of Sony's taking over the whole board and seizing control of the company if they don't meet certain metrics. But Sony owns them. Yeah, but Sony, well, no, they don't own 100% yet, Paul. See, this is why I've said in the past that Bungie can still get out of the fucking contract, right? They're still separately independent, right, and have full control of what they're doing. Now, since December 6th, there's been some stuff, right, where they're 45% under what their sales were. They needed this thing to work out. It got delayed. The leak that happened, right? There's been a bunch of stuff. According to Copilot, Sony now officially owns the Destiny IP. Can we trust it? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's 100% completed acquisition. Why is it that I can't... Sony... 100% of Bungie. Everything I see about Sony owning them is they completed the acquisition in 2022, but that's not what the contract. The contract is that they have to make sales. They have to sell they have to sell the final shape. If the final shape sells well, they don't lose out. They don't lose the IP. Bungie gets operated independently does not mean anything other than they get to choose what they're doing. Sony would have let Bungie out of their contract. I don't believe Bungie has a financial leverage for that right now. Oh, you're absolutely right, House. What I'm saying is it all depended on the sales, hence why they needed everything to go on this, and their contracts end in 2026. Jack says, if I'm Sony, how many chances am I going to give them before I say it's not working? Well, they have every right. You're absolutely right, Jax. I'm just saying, as of right now, I don't believe I still believe, as the last article I've seen, which IGN reported on December 6th, is that under the contract, as it stands, the contract means that Bungie's higher-ups will be changed to one of Sony's choice. Right, if they do not meet the sales. Let's see, 3.9 billion from the sale of Sony. I need to understand how the corporate ownership. Let's see. Once they create the business, we also need money. So when the Bungie itself back to Microsoft. So when Bungie got bought by Sony for 3.6 billion, Bungie was bought from existing shareholders who were not Bungie for 3.6. Bungie was not bought from itself. Bungie was bought from shareholders. Bungie itself will have seen very, very, very little that cash coming to itself at any. Bungie didn't make the 3.6 billion. Shareholders of Bungie did. The only time a company gets money from shares is being sold is when the shares are initially created and sold to investors. Let's see. Yes, Bungie will have held some of their own shares and a bunch of reasons, such as stock grants and part of employee compensation. These shares will probably exchange for equivalent shares in Sony as part of a reworking compensation package for employees. Bungie did not need to be a public company for the shares and shareholders to exist. Shares in the company always exist, public or private. Public just means that the company is allowed to have the shares trades in public market, which also will get the bunch of initial cash by the issuing the bunch of new shares. Let's see. Value of purchases. Bungie has access to considerably more resources now from Sony. I want to focus on how the ownership changed work and help people understand what is going on since it's been seeing a bunch of confusion. The unique part about this deal What is not changing after this acquisition? It seems that entering a new era where they also become a major console manufacturer, scoping of the big publisher a lot IP. That does not necessarily mean console exclusive or in the cards, for instance. But that the Bungie Sony deal seems to have resulted in the best terms of all. Not only is Destiny staying multi-platform and not becoming a Sony exclusive, but Bungie also has said it will remain independent, operated, and able to release its future new games and IP multi-platforms as well. The problem with this is there's nothing that I can find. If you can find something, Paul, please send it to me. Okay? Because everything I'm looking up in Google search, nothing says that they own it 100%, that they still independently contracted and whatnot. All that matters is Sony's complete acquisition of 100% and shares of Bungie. But I don't believe they have 100% control of the shares. They have majority of the shares. They don't have 100% of the shares. Sony CEO made scaring remarks over Bungie's management. Those guys are in trouble, not the devs. Right. The management's in trouble. Yeah, the management's in trouble. I think I'm not going to pretend to know all the details because I don't. Okay? All I know is what I know from what I'm reading, and I don't see anything that says that Sony 100% outright owns them. Everything that I find still says, right? But again, we also didn't hear news about Barrett leaving until 10 months afterwards. So there could be a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and, you know, people can speculate all they want. You put an image in Discord? Okay. Is it in general? Holy shit, that's tiny. Announcement regarding completion of the acquisition of Bungie. On July 15th, Pacific Daylight Time, Sony Interactive, wholly owned subsidiary of Sony Corporation, as an independent video game developer in the United States. Okay, the considered acquisition is also determined after the working capital adjustment, apparently $3.7 billion. Inclusive the purchase price and committed to employee. This is fucking blurry as shit, by the way. Although the impact, I can't read this. On May 10th, 2022, expensive associated acquisition, which expected to close during fiscal year 2022, the Game Network Service Agreement, including transaction. Top line only. Yeah, but that okay. There's more to it than just what you're saying. It's not 100%. They completion of the acquisition of 100%. Of the shares in Bungie. Completed the acquisition of 100% of the shares in Bungie. The independent video game developer in the United States, according to the executed derivative agreements previously announced on January 31st, 2022. What was the thing on... That's the total consideration of the acquisition, which is determined after customary working capital and other adjustments, is approximately $3.7 billion US, inclusive to the purchase price of committed employee initiatives and incentives. I mean, okay. As of December 6th of 2023, though, what I've seen is saying that they're still completely independent. They peaked at 314,000 players just on Steam yesterday. They're not in trouble. Dolphin, do you understand, though, even when they peaked the first time, there was a GDC conference, and Bungie themselves said they almost didn't survive, even though we all thought there was, like, super, tons of people playing. And then we know that they were below 46% in sales, right? So sure, you can look at the number and say they're fine with 314,000, but again, we don't know the workings behind how much money they're spending and what they need. So yes, on the surface, and for the public, sure, it's successful, right? The public perception, it's successful, but we have no idea if the game's in trouble or not. Eclipse says, yeah, it doesn't matter how many players they have. It matters if they can manage the money, and apparently Bungie cannot do that. Paul says, independent as in Sony are just letting them run themselves for now. But any profits made is money for Sony now, and money loss hits Sony also. Sure. All right. Let's go to the second story, which is just a review. It's a 10-minute review of Star Wars Hunters on the Switch. So let's go there. Let me raise the volume a little bit here. Come on, Mr. Luke.
Star Wars Hunters was originally slated to release back in 2021, but then has since had several delays, extending its production time to...
Here's yet another hero shooter that doesn't need to exist. But here we are.
I believe around 3 years, running in the Unreal Engine and coming from the infamous Zynga. Yes, that would be Zynga, the free-to-play mobile guys. I have to admit I went into this one thinking it was basically a foregone conclusion. Is this free-to-play, squad-based action game one to check out, or are you going to be hunting for the off button? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to Switch Up. Now,
why didn't they just make a Battlefront 3? Why don't they just make a Battlefront 3?
Let's find out.
Well, this is a Switch and a mobile game. So,
as I'm sure you might expect, there is no storyline here whatsoever. Well, actually, you might expect something different, mightn't you, from a franchise that's based around some decent storytelling.
It's just like Disney Star Wars. There doesn't need to be story. It's just Star Wars.
But no, you're booting up to the colourful bells and whistles of what feels like something you might find on the Las Vegas Strip. And I mean that in a number of ways. Initially, you're treated to a tutorial which guides you through the general mechanics, which are pretty straightforward. 2 teams face off against each other in a variety of different game modes, 4 versus 4, and once you've chosen your class, which we'll get onto in a minute, you'll try and complete those objectives, be it eliminating all of the enemy team, trying to get 25 kills, or holding different points around the map. As far as controls go, they've actually gone to some lengths on the Switch version. You can customize the XY axis, you can change all of the button layouts, and it's also...
This game doesn't last a year. This game doesn't last a year.
Also got 2 implementations of gyroscopic support, meaning you can tailor that to exactly how you like it. I have to say, this was far more than I thought they would have put into the version.
Well, you know what? Let me rearrange that. Because they put it on Switch. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. My dog is barking. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Let's continue. So what I was saying is, I think that they made it for the Switch on purpose, right? So apparently there's some sort of clientele that's there that's interested in this type of game, and it's also on mobile.
version, so it is clear they actually intend for Switch players to get a decent experience. Gameplay's quite straightforward. Damage numbers will pop up on enemies' heads as you take pot shots, and you'll be trying to use a number of different class-specific skills, such as firing multiple rockets, using a shoulder-mounted auto-locking rocket, or a grappling hook and sniper rifle combo.
You know what's amazing to me? That games like this are around and last, but yet Marvel's Heroes is gone.
I sense your frustration.
Dave Rose says this game doesn't last 6 months.
There are a few familiar faces here with suitable move sets, and as far as core mechanics goes, it actually feels quite good. Now with these games, it really does rely on the balancing of individual units, and Zynga have done a reasonable job here. The Sentinel class is one I quickly got on board with, able to bring up a shield in front of you, but a bit more slow and cumbersome, making you vulnerable from an attack from the rear, whereas the more powerful Sniper class, in the right hands, can be absolutely devastating. Certainly combined with the gyro, I'd say the Switch is probably one of the easier platforms to play on. Hunters has a variety of arenas from popular film locations, and they look quite good. The actual layouts of them work really well for the small 4v4 teams, with some favouring certain classes. The more open stages obviously will benefit those ranged players, but the smaller, more
I'm going to rewind there for a second. Was he shooting and not hitting?
The more open stages obviously will benefit those ranged players, but the smaller, more claustrophobic ones, well, they become a bit of a Wookiee fest. You can only choose one of each of the characters. You won't have 4 Wookiees on your team. That was a good idea, but it does get a bit irritating when someone else chooses your favourite.
Oh, that would suck. That would suck. So if I'm leveling up my... Now, I don't know if there's leveling up. I'm assuming there's like a battle pass or something for each of the characters, I would assume. I don't know. Maybe it's one. But if I want to use the Stormtrooper and someone else is using the Stormtrooper, then I can't use the Stormtrooper? That sucks.
Class. Still, it means you've got to mix up your styles and try out different things. And I mentioned balancing. I think most of those classes do have real strengths that will take a bit of practice, but which make them quite enjoyable to play. One thing I will say is, although you...
Mr. Luke, if you can get that to play, let me know. If we can play it and try it on the PC, I'll give it a shot.
You get points for kills as well as assists. A class like the Medic doesn't seem to get quite the recognition it deserves for its efforts. I think they need to do a little bit of tweaking there. Now, thankfully, I was joined by my daughter for the vast majority of the gameplay, although she didn't give herself a name, so I had the embarrassing role of essentially being generic player 456721 or something like that. But Hunters doesn't seem to have any kind of voice chat, and communication isn't particularly good or well implemented. This is a shame, as I've seen voice chat in other games on Switch, and I can understand this is generally targeting perhaps...
Wait a minute. Let me back it up here.
Self a name, so I had the embarrassing role of essentially being generic player 456721 or something like that. But Hunters doesn't seem to have any kind of voice chat and
Oh, no voice chat. I mean, that's good because no one's going to talk shit to you, but bad because you can't communicate to anybody.
Communication isn't particularly good or well implemented. This is a shame, as I've seen voice chat in other games on Switch, and I can understand this is generally targeting perhaps younger players, although I don't really agree with that statement. But good play does require some form of communication, and you don't have that unless you create your...
They don't care. I'll be honest. They didn't make this game for cooperation and people for talking. They made this game so they could charge microtransactions on a free-to-play game for Star Wars. Right? And it came out the same time as the Acolyte. Don't forget that. Right? We always talk about marketing. Like, look at what Fallout did, and then everyone went to go play more Fallout. They literally released this the exact same time. They postponed this to now correlate with a show that launched the exact same day, which was the Acolyte.
Your own party. Now you can invite friends based on previous games you've played, or just search for their names, and partying up's actually quite easy. But as I say, when you enter the ranked battles, it does become borderline essential to have some form of actual dialogue with your teammates.
Is that a robot Jedi?
Despite being free to play, this isn't pay to win, and any currency...
How does that even work? How does that work?
So you do just...
Grievous is not a robot, by the way. And he doesn't have any force abilities. He's just a trained fighter. Okay? But how the hell is a robot a Jedi?
Decide to put into the game is simply going to go towards cosmetics. With that said, as part of the review, I always do test out those purchases. I made a small purchase, the money left my account incredibly quickly, and I got absolutely nothing.
Oh, nice. I love paying for stuff and getting absolutely nothing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, despite telling me the transaction had failed, it took my hard-earned cash and basically laughed in my face. That'll teach me. Now, while I tend to never really spend any money in these games, I am glad I did it. Because I would say to you right now on Switch, just avoid putting any money into it at all. If you're someone that likes to buy cosmetics, I'd say the chances
It almost looks like this game is made within Fortnite itself.
of that randomly happening to me, while slim, certainly mean that it's going to happen to someone else. I'll keep you updated in the top comment to let you know what Zynga have to say about that. Not a good look. Gameplay wise, things are surprisingly good, almost upsettingly so. I really wish this was a paid experience. I want to be unlocking things much more quickly than this. You know the design here, the old battle pass system.
Yeah, slow, grindy. Yep.
The slow trickle of unlocks, and then the on-screen, why don't you spend 25 quid on a virtual skin? I just do not like this model. And it is a shame because underneath it there's a fun game here. If you're someone that finds you can ignore all of that rubbish.
Well, of course it's got to be a fun game. Free-to-play games have to be a fun game because they have to make you keep playing. Why don't people understand this, right? Free-to-play games are fun to play because they have to be fun to play. Not only do they have to be fun to play, they have to be complete games. Because if it's broke, buggy in any way, everyone's like, I don't really care about it, right? And they're going to move on to the next thing, right? These games have to be fun. And then they have to be grindy as fuck because they want you to have fun and then grindy. And then you have your moral compass going, should I keep grinding for this? Should I keep playing this because I can get this cool thing? Or I could pay $10, or I could pay $25, or I can do this. Man, this is really fun. I really wish this wasn't that. It's just $10. It's just $5.
Rubbish, then yeah, for sure. With a few friends online, it's good fun. Now, I do think they need to increase the variety of game modes. And another point to mention is that when you first start out, it's doing that cheeky little thing that Zynga like to do. It makes you think you're playing with players online, and it's actually bots. The way to tell this is you'll see them running against the fences, and they might just stand still and spin around a few times, but it tries to give them convincing names so that you think you're the best player the world's ever seen.
Oh, these cheeky bastards. These cheeky bastards. They're like, oh yeah, you're playing online. No, but you're really not playing online. Right? You're not playing online, but you feel like you're playing online and you feel really good about yourself.
Now, I know these tricks. They're trying to get you completely hooked into the game.
Of course!
Obviously, the goalposts will move as they introduce real players. But it doesn't tell you, and it feels a little underhand. So when we paired up as a duo, we saw a significant rise in the difficulty. Despite my moans, I do actually really enjoy the game. The balancing seems so.
He likes it because it's Star Wars. He likes it because it's fun. Gaming's supposed to be fun, but then they have to manipulate you. Just like he just said, they're manipulating you to think that you're playing with people, but you're not playing with people. And then as you slowly level up and get to a certain thing, then they start implementing actual people, and then it becomes this grind fest. And then you see people with the cosmetics or this skin or that gun or this thing, and then it's like, well, I got to get that too.
The unlocks of the actual characters,
This is the problem with gaming. This is the problem with gaming.
they take a while. At least you don't have to pay for them. And I do like the way they macro level. So as you play as a specific class, it will gain a new level and its abilities will improve slightly. None of that's tied to any payments, and that was a sound choice. I also appreciate the controls and the amount of time they've put into those, and that goes for both docked and handheld play. What it needs right now then are more arenas, definitely more gameplay modes, and it potentially could have some legs in terms of longevity. I'd give gameplay 15 out of 20. The controls are actually really good. They score 18 out of 20.
I actually like this guy's scoring. Not what he scored it, but just in general, like he's giving different types of scores here. Visual performance.
Now visually this runs on the Unreal Engine. You're looking at 30 FPS in both docked or handheld mode. I did notice a couple of drops when there's lots of particle effects on screen, but generally it's a reasonably smooth experience. I think 60 would have been the sweet spot, and I'm sure this will be running at that on mobile, ironically enough, but I don't think the Switch can handle that. Artistically, it's quite a nice looking game. They've drawn on some of their animated series, but I do not like the visual storefront. It does feel like something you'd pick straight up on mobile. The price tags everywhere, the flashing lights, the pop-up boxes trying to make you spend money. It's just not a pleasant experience. Now, as for audio, this one sounds quite good. The weapons are solid, the music is obviously fantastic, but the lack of voice chat, that's a real miss.
You're all in trouble. It's not personal.
It's undeniable they've done a good job with the Unreal Engine, even if I don't like some of the UI design elements. Visuals and performance, score.
So this is the Unreal Engine, and it looks like Fortnite. I'll be honest with you. If you told me this was built inside Fortnite, I would have been like, okay, cool.
16 out of 20. They really should have implemented voice chat and voice communication in a better way. Audio scores 14 out of 20.
I like that what he's doing. He's breaking down each thing, like me and Sarge said, and give you a total for each of the things. Like here's the audio visual, here's the gameplay out of, here's the visual out of. Now he's telling you the value. I like this.
The game's obviously free, so you might expect it to get 20 out of 20 for value. But let's be honest, nothing in life is truly free, and these experiences are going to cost you in time, and is it worth it? Honestly, this is really quite fun, and it irks me a little that it isn't a fully paid game without all the silly sales front things you find. With that said, it's objectively enjoyable, albeit a little bit bare bones. And there's the obvious issue of trying to make a payment and it actually not going through on Switch. Whether that's a one-off or not, it has to affect the value score. I give value 14 out of 20.
Here you go. Story and gameplay, 15 out of 20. Controls, 18 out of 20. Visuals, 16 out of 20. Audio, 14 out of 20. And values, 14 out of 20. I like this guy's scoring system. So what I like about this is if you're a person that says, well, does it have story? Obviously, there is no story. Okay, is the gameplay good? Gameplay's above average. 10 would be his mid tier. It's above average. Okay, controls feel good. If you're a person that likes controls of a game, you're like, hey, you know what? This actually looks pretty good. Visuals, if you like visuals, he's telling you what the visuals are, audio, and then the value. I like this. This is good system.
Star Wars Hunters is a far better game than I thought it would be. While I don't like the free-to-play model, just as a personal preference, I have to give it credit. It is an enjoyable game. It gets a switch-up score of 77%. Certainly worth giving.
77% fun. It is. Plus, very fun to play. Gyro for the win. Flawless netcode so far. I wish it wasn't free to play.
A go if you're a fan of Star Wars or you just like a good squad-based shooter. Let us know what you think in the comments. I think I know what you're going to think. There'll be quite a few people that agree with me in terms of free-to-play games. There'll be others who don't give a monkey's, can kind of ignore all of that stuff and just enjoy a completely free game that's actually quite fun. But yeah,
I've never came across this person before. Switch Up. So check him out. He's got quite a bit of a channel. He's got, I think it's 354,000 subscribers. I like the scoring system that he has going on here. Yeah, I like the scoring system. So I'm gonna give that a thumbs up. I think I'm gonna subscribe to that so I can see some more of his stuff that he does reviews for. So there you go. Star Wars Hunters. I mean, it's a mobile game. I don't like the free-to-play stuff. If we could play it on, the PC with BlueStacks or something, then maybe we'll give it a shot. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm really not interested in it at all. Let's see. Yeah, out of 20, it's new. Well, it's out of 100, and he's breaking down each thing to get the total score, which we've been talking about for so long. And Jemima says, I was checking this out, gameplay on it yesterday, not bad. It can feel super cluttered at times. Z says, Star Wars IP or not, don't we already have a Star Wars shooter to play? We do have a shooter to play. Yeah, we do have a shooter to play. I would rather play Battlefront, sorry. You watch him for your Switch reviews? He's good. Yeah, it seemed like a good review. See, I don't believe that every game is just good or bad, right? Obviously, it's subjective to you. But someone that's doing a review, I like that they do reviews and they give it the breakdown. So if you're a person that's going, well, how are the controls? And they tell you the controls are good, and they give a score out of the controls, or they give the score out of the video, that is valuable to someone to listen to and watch and go, oh, you know what? It's got good story. I'm going to play it for story. I don't care if the controls suck, right? More information for the consumer is better. All right, the next thing we have, it's a slow day. Okay, we're going to stick with Star Wars here. Okay, we're going to stick with Star Wars here. And we're going to talk about the Rolling Stones article. Okay, pick and choose who you want to talk about or what outlet you want to grab. Okay, Rolling Stones made their opinion. They saw the first 4 episodes of it. So if you don't want to be ruined in any way, shape, or form, I have not read this yet. I saw a post, which is the thing that we read yesterday, which is this top part here. Okay, if you don't want to be spoiled because you want to watch The Acolyte, then go away. I don't know if this is going to spoil it in any way, shape, or form. I'm pretty sure it probably will. So they're going to talk about what's it called? No, IGN shouldn't hire him. He should stay independent. But yeah, if you want to know about The Acolyte, we're going to have a conversation, talk about it. Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I used to love Star Wars. Now I like Star Wars. Okay. We're going to talk about the article as is. Okay. So here we go. All right. So The Acolyte, this is from the Rolling Stones. The Acolyte, this Star Wars prequel series isn't a force to be reckoned with. Okay. Even a veteran Jedi Master will lose patience with this latest Disney Plus addition to the canon, which focuses on a pair of twins, revenge and sleep. Okay. It says the Jedi barely appear original Star Wars trilogy. Obi-Wan and Yoda are both hermits, hiding from their own failures in distant corners of the galaxy, and both die after teaching Luke Skywalker a bit about the Force. Luke himself never technically completes his training, though, and he gets close enough to be considered a Jedi Master in later films. So the Jedi exists more as an existing symbol of those early films, as well as the mysteries on how they could group of people so wise and powerful have just ceased to exist. The solution of the mysterious unfortunately robbed the Jedi of most of the mystique and Obi-Wan and Yoda gave them in the early movies. And it turns out that the Jedi got wiped out because of their soft congratulatory, and far too hung up on the rules that did more harm than good. If Mace Windu had just told Anakin Skywalker not allowed to go kiss Padme for Pete's sake, the Empire never would have been created. The Clone Wars and Rebels cartoons did a bit better of the Jedi, but on a whole, they're all like Boba Fett, a George Lucas creation where the more they get to do, the less thrilling they become. AKA the guy who turned out to be so boring in his own show, he had morphed the Mandalorian bonus season partway through. That's because Disney did that, right? What Lucas did and what Disney did are two different things. Everything that Lucas did and every cool character there was, Disney grabbed and shit on or did something to make that person worse. Okay. The newest Disney Plus Star Wars series, The Acolyte, at least attempts to openly confront the reality of the Jedi, are smug complaints and kind of terrible. But the execution of the idea is spotty throughout the 4 episodes given to critics. And the decision to set the century before the rise of Empire seems to defeat the purpose of the whole thing because the Jedi of the Phantom Menace have learned exactly 0 lessons. Here's what I don't like about this, right? Everything that we know in episodes 1, 2, and 3 to tell us about the Sith and tell us about the stuff, they could have made this 1,000 years in the past. But instead they made it 100 years, okay, before episodes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and my problem with that is I know the backstory of Emperor Palpatine and his master, okay, Plagueis, and then his master. And his master should be in this show, okay? Now, obviously, you could pick and choose the legacy that you want to know, but he's canon, okay? The master of the master is canon in this. Are they going to show him? Are they going to change things? Okay, and this is my problem by putting it 100 years into the past instead of 1,000 years, because you could have write anything you wanted and it could change over 1,000 years. But 100 years, right? The Emperor's 84 or 88, okay, by the time he dies in Return of the Jedi. Okay? He's just born 20 years after this, and his master and his master's master is alive during this time period as well. Okay? So what's going to happen? Plus Yoda's alive, right? Plus you know, the Wookiees and stuff are here, like Chewbacca's alive during this period as well. Okay? So The Acolyte was created by writer-director Leslie Headland, who was also the co-creators of Netflix's great sci-fi comedy Russian's Doll. Headland was built her whole story around the institutional failings of the Jedi, a young woman named Maya, okay, and seeking revenge of a quarry of Jedi masters, that wise soul, and the stoic Indara, okay, Wookiee master Clinatic, awesome, butchered those names, and the young Torborn, okay, for family tragedy. And the more that they learn about the history and clearer becomes the Jedi law, and the questions of who is and isn't allowed to study the Force played an unfortunately huge role. Meanwhile, May's twin sister, Osha, like OSHA, the people that come and make sure everything's safe, is working on the mechanics after washing out Jedi training. She's a mechanic after washing out of Jedi training. What do you mean washing out of Jedi training? The fuck does that mean? You can't wash out of Jedi training. It's not like you're going to like Nujitsu class. The Jedi literally grab you as a youngling and bring you in, and then you are a Jedi. You will become a Jedi or you die. What are we talking about? Washed out of Jedi training as she has to again speak with her former teacher. Oh, for God's sakes. Can we... I haven't seen the show. Okay, I haven't seen the show. I've seen clips of the show. Okay, I haven't seen the show. I haven't watched a lot of people talk about the show. The stuff I've seen of the show, this is not Dawson's Creek. Okay, this is not something that's on our planet. The way they talk and the way they're explaining this to me, okay, sounds like something on planet Earth. That's not what this is. Okay, this is not a show on Earth. This is not humans. This is for fuck's sake. All right, 2 of the show's actors played Jedi here. Rebecca Henderson is Venstra, a green-skinned, high-ranking member of the Order, and Charlie Barron is Yord, a Jedi nerd. Okay. Lee Jung-jae, Emmy-winning star of Squid Games, brings a necessary amount of gravitas, warmth, and regret as Soul. His relationship with Osha is easily the best and the most fully realized aspect of The Acolyte. Okay, their collaboration regrettably struggles. Okay, as Osha and May from the Another, when they're wearing different clothes and pursuing different agendas. And even with the worst, the 3rd episode is a listless flashback where the 2 girls played Lee and Lauren Brady are styled identically. So here's the thing. So why another flashback? You know, Star Wars never did flashbacks. There was no flashbacks before Disney. Disney loves their flashbacks. Flashbacks are terrible because that means you can't tell a story, and you need the flashback to fill in the gaps. In Star Wars, when Obi-Wan talks to Luke Skywalker and says, "I fought with your father in the Clone Wars," it would have been super simple to then all of a sudden do a flashback and show like a little flashback of Obi-Wan fighting with his father in that time frame. But they don't do that, because it's left to you as the storytellers telling you I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. You're like, what is the Clone Wars? And that's all you thought about, right? You didn't have to see a flashback of the Clone Wars at the time. It's just a line. It's just moving it forward. That line all of it automatically gives you, oh, well, he fought with his father. We don't know that Darth Vader is his father at the time or anything like that. You just know, oh, cool. So he was solid with his father and they fought in the war. Shit went down, right? Very simplistic, okay? Now you need flashbacks because the writers suck so bad. They have to show you a flashback because they can't explain what it is. There's no character building at all of any of this stuff, right? So most of the pieces are unseen at best. It's not simply underwhelming. Carrie-Anne Moss is used as well as the opening action set piece, once again getting to work with the bullet time effects in 25 years after the first Matrix, but is otherwise wasted. And the later fight scenes aren't as dynamic. Okay, there's some assuming bits in business regarding interpersonal dynamics amongst the Jedi. Yord is so disrespected that even Soul's Padawan from Logan is also Dark Materials feels comfortable acting superior to him. Okay, but not a lot. The idea of seeing a Wookiee Jedi in action is more exciting than a little actually gets to do. Okay. It's a Manny injects some welcome scoundrel energy as May's ally. Quinmere, like Han Solo or Finn, doesn't care much about the Force, which is an element of a prequel's badly lacked, is especially helpful in the story, as that it's much more about the Force than which the people of the Jedi believe should be allowed to wield it. This was also, of course, the key theme of sequels, both within the story and within the awkward baton passing between the writer-directors J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Johnson's Last Jedi goes out the way forcing rather than treating it as something worthy only of the characters with the noble bloodlines. It's a position that Rey, as a child of nobodies, as a final scene features an orphan boy casually using the Force to grab a broom and sweep out the stables. Right, The Rise of Skywalker. Abrams retcons things so that Rey is the granddaughter of the Emperor Palpatine, and he has zero interest in the broom boy. Without having seen the back and half of the season, it's hard to know for sure if the headland stands to be debate, but the Acolyte certainly seems pro-Broom Boy so far. Even so, the particular moments of the headland has chosen to tell the story seems to be confined in the Phantom Menace. The Jedi have also been overseeing a peaceful, Sith-free galaxy for thousands of years, and there's confidence in the righteousness of all the decisions in the situation with May and Osha, and May's seamlessly Sith Lord Master raises questions that fly in the face of where the Jedi are, philosophies of Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon find little Anakin, and the sands of Tatooine. In other words, this feels like a narrative dead end. It doesn't automatically preclude a good series. The fact that no one learns anything here could be the whole tragic point of the story. Headland and the company are telling is good to see another Star Wars project like that, like Andor. Okay, some of the franchise's fundamental assumptions, entertainment-wise, though, the first half of The Acolyte is unfortunately a lot closer to the Book of Boba Fett. Oof, that's the biggest thing right there. So far, the first 4 episodes, with what they're talking about here, is about as good as Boba Fett. If you guys watched Book of Boba Fett, it was a horrendous show. It was absolutely garbage. Okay, absolute garbage. I'm always just amazed by what Disney's doing with Star Wars. In Book of Boba Fett, in Obi-Wan, in other series that they've done, Ahsoka. I haven't seen Andor, so I don't know if they do this in Andor. But the way the people talk in the shows, they talk like they're on Earth. They don't talk like they're talking. Like, for instance, the amount of backstory that Tolkien did for Lord of the Rings, made up languages and backstories and all these things, knowing that these people do not live on Earth. Okay, George Lucas made Star Wars, and he made people talk by like things, and because they weren't on Earth, sure, you could pull things like the Force is supposed to be like God, okay, right? It's supposed to be like the magical being out there that whatever, okay? There's connection points, but it's not grounded in Earth, okay? The beginning of the whole fucking Star Wars is that it's in a galaxy far, far away. Those people don't have the same values as us. They don't have the same things as us. It's a fantasy sci-fi world. They have their things, their languages, their beliefs, their stuff, which is not ours here on planet Earth. And yet the way they talk in these shows and the way they say certain things, you're like, they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say that. I understand they're actors from Earth playing these characters, but for fuck's sake, like, can you write stuff to make it feel like that it's actually not from planet Earth and you're just filming it on a backstage lot? You know what I mean? Like, it's so freaking frustrating for what it is. Stop writing it like people on the back lot and write it like characters in a world that you're supposed to be showing us what it is. That's why I get frustrated about with this stuff. How much is too much Star Wars spin-offs? I heard episode 3 goes completely off the rails and ruins the Force. Confirmed. God is Space Wizard. I mean, that's what they're talking about, right? The show costs as much as Dune Part 2. Jesus. It's like 100. It's like 120. No, it's got to be more than that, right? What is it? Let me see let's see. $180 million to produce. $180 million. That's $22.5 million an episode. $22.5 million a 30-minute episode. That's insane. It's just burning money. Just burning money. The PCaps. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for that. The 19. What is THB? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, $180 million for 8 episodes. It's like they have no original stories to tell. And again, you could have put it 1,000 years. Okay. You could have easily put 1,000 years ahead and it wouldn't have any bearing on what happens, because 1,000 years is a big time frame. Okay. But they chose to do it 100 years, meaning they're trying to change the course of what it is. Or if it doesn't change the course, then what's the point of doing it? Right? Again, I haven't seen the show. Okay? But there's twins. One's good, one's bad. Okay? Maybe the good one's not the good one. Maybe the bad one's not the bad one. Maybe the good one's the bad one, the bad one's the good one. Right? Tibet. Thank you very much for the 19, Tibet. I was already not interested in the show when it came out to the realization that Disney's Star Wars is not for me, but it got further cemented because I read episode 3 and they use pronouns, so definitely out. Wait a minute. They use pronouns in a galaxy far, far away. Ah, for fuck's sake. Do you see what I'm saying, Rose? You see what I'm saying? They can't just tell stories. They have to take what we have here and put it into those stories in a thing that's not even supposed to be here. Two mothers birthing a child. I mean, that's sort of like Marvel's, what was her name? America Chavez, right? Yep, read it the other day for a couple reviews. It's ridiculous. Okay, I tried to play Star Wars Hunters on BlueStacks. It launches for me, but then it closes right after. And I really don't care to play the game, so I'm not going to figure it out. Yeah, I'm good. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, why do you have to go out of your way to, like, for instance, somebody in Star Wars shouldn't talk like someone from New York. And I'm not talking about accent wise. I'm talking about like the dialect, or I'm talking about like, yo, bro, that's crazy. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing in that world. Right? Like, that shouldn't be a thing inside of Star Wars. The Vespas shouldn't be a thing inside of Boba Fett. Right? That type of stuff shouldn't be inside Star Wars. You should... What's the word I'm looking for? You should adapt it to what would they sound like there? What would it be? Okay? Again, Tolkien made different languages. It breaks the immersion of Star Wars when you put this stuff in. Right! It's like, what do they watch television in Star Wars? And they have a signal going back to our... And now there's pronouns? They had Vespas in Boba Fett? You don't know about the Boba Fett Vespas? You don't know about the Vespas? Did you live underneath a rock? Not only did they have Vespas, okay, but there was cool people hanging out with the Vespas. There's Vespas in Star Wars. The Vespa gang, that's right. The Vespa gang. Okay? And not only do those fit in Star Wars as much as pronouns do, okay, but those are on Tatooine. Okay? What's going on, alien? Those are on Tatooine. Okay? Everything on Tatooine is beaten by the sun and sand. Nothing on that planet should be that bright and blue and yellow and red. Okay? Because that is immersion breaking. I hate when they take certain things and put that into our fantasy worlds. Okay? Like, come on. You want to put Vespas in the show? Cool. But at least make them look like they belong on the planet. Those Vespas would be fine on Coruscant, but not on Tatooine. Where's the Vespa dealership in Tatooine? The chase scene in that, I don't know what's worse, the chase scene with the Vespas or the chase scene after Leia in Obi-Wan. Both chase scenes are both terrible. Oh, boy. Come back here, little girl. Oh, I missed her. You're a grown man chasing a 9-year-old. Four grown adults chasing a kid and can't catch them. Insert Benny Hill music. It's not like it was a 900-pound man. It wasn't like Jabba chasing Leia. No, I don't think. I think she was. I think she was 9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was 9. It takes place 8 or 9. It takes place 8 years after episode 3. Yeah, it was terrible. As long as they never change the color of the blue milk. This milk brought to you by... So ridiculous. Here's the thing, right? The new foundation of Star Wars. Okay? I mean, look, I understand Star Wars is not for me anymore. I'm a 46-year-old man, and I don't like the Star Wars that they're showing. Cool. The people that also like the Star Wars that they're showing, these people are not going to theaters to watch the movies. These people are not going out and buying toys. These people are not buying all the other memorabilia stuff. They're not doing anything monetarily to watch this, right? They're not. They're not buying your stuff. They're not buying your comics. They're not buying your books. They're not buying your toys. They're not buying your going out to the movies. They're not seeing any of this shit. Okay? So good luck. Good luck. I have episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good luck to you, Star Wars fans. Have fun. Okay? I can guarantee you that this Star Wars will not last as long as the original Star Wars. By just normal factor, meaning they'll push and push and push this stuff on you, but no one's going to buy it. No one is going to like it. Okay? The very few, they're going to be like, oh, we're so happy about this. Fantastic. You have your Star Wars, I have mine. And we can all live in kumbaya. Okay? But I can't wait. I can't wait for some people to take whatever they like, whatever they love, whatever character they make. And I can't wait 30 years from now when people start remaking their shit and it starts destroying everything that they've done. Can't wait. Best part of was seeing Qui-Gon at the end. At this point, I'm done with anything Star Wars. Not going to watch another show or movie or just keep my memories. That's exactly right, Rose. That's exactly right. Clip says, what you're saying, the people that made it want it was not getting catered to. Is it bad thing? You don't say. Here's the thing. Back in the day, the Force wasn't male or female. It was just the Force. It's just the Force. Let's be real. None of this, these people will make anything good that is remembered in 30 years. That's true, Jason. Time long ago, no movie star would have ever been caught dead doing a Star Wars movie. Right. Hence why Harrison Ford wanted to be killed off 3 times. He is. So it's now called The Force. Right? You see the problem? The Force before was for everybody. But now the Force is just female. Right? They chose. Right? And I'm not saying that that's what they're doing in the shows. That's what I'm saying, that the marketing and Kathleen Kennedy, the Force is female, is what she said years ago. Okay? She's already segregated half the Force was never have an identity. It's just a entity. Okay? And now you're telling me there's pronouns in Star Wars. Fantastic. Here's the thing that I posted. Was it yesterday? Yeah. So I posted this the other day. Okay. Let me show you what this is. Okay. This is a scene. Okay. This is a scene from the show. What do you notice here? What do you notice here? Okay. Okay, what do you notice in this video? Okay. Now my whole video is gonna get taken down because I showed that, but we'll just knock it out afterwards. Now I know, Jason, that's exactly what it is. Fire in space is impossible. Now I know what people are gonna say. There's always been fire in space, but there's a difference between what Lucas did with fire in space when the explosion happens and it just disappears, and an actual fire burning. Now, the difference between fire burning in space, right? Fire doesn't just flicker like this because of things, right? It moves like this because it's called wind. Right? There's always wind on planet Earth and where there's places of gravity. Okay? But fire doing this in space, like, the fact that they didn't think about this. But really, who cares? You're nitpicking. You're nitpicking. You're absolutely right. I'm nitpicking. Right? Tolkien made backstory of each person in a book that you didn't even care about. Words, languages, different things. These people can't even get fire correctly. Right. Obviously, there has to be oxygen. Okay. But it's insane to me. It's absolutely insane. It's just not a big deal. It's not a big deal because you don't give a shit. That's why it's not a big deal. All right. Let's have some fun. Okay. Last night after the Fallout 76 stream, we came across a tweet. Okay. We came across a tweet. One tweet. Okay. And I thought it was actually a pretty good tweet because this is going to be a Sony Xbox fanboy extravaganza. Okay. I don't have a side. We're just going to take exactly the data that's been given to us here based off of OpenCritic. This is just for fun. This is just for fun. Okay. The thing that we're going off of is from Colt Eastwood. Okay. I don't watch Colt Eastwood. I don't know his stuff. Last night, JC said he hated him or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know who he is. I'm just reading what he posted. And I'm going to show you the actual. Okay. I'm going to show you the actual picture. Okay. All this is taking OpenCritic's scores. This is everything that came out from this generation so far since 2020. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X. Okay. So as the tweet reads, it says update. Xbox versus PlayStation first party / published this generation. OpenCritic aggregate. Okay. Xbox 82%. PlayStation 82.8%. It says PlayStation has a 0.8 advantage over Xbox with the first party with 5 more games released so far. Xbox versus PlayStation by 2024 will have 27 games out and PlayStation will have 29 games. Both are doing really well. Okay. So with that, here is the actual picture. Okay. So first party games, OpenCritic, and in this we have all the scores from OpenCritic on the actual thing. So Gear Tactics 83, Deathloop 88, 92, 86, God of War 93, all the stuff. Okay. So far in this generation, there's the 6 new games coming out that don't have scores, so they don't count. They're just showing you what it's there. Here's the 3 other games that are coming out for PlayStation, but those don't count because they don't have scores yet. Right now, 82 to 82.8. All this is showing is that both companies both have bangers and both companies have somewhat subpar games. Okay, and there's 2 other things. But then last night, people started putting their jerseys on, and they're like, "Well, you can't take Deathloop. You can't put Deathloop in here, right? You can't put Deathloop because Deathloop was an exclusive for PlayStation when it came out. It wasn't on Xbox, and that has nothing to do with that." So he said, "You know what? We'll remove it." So what I've done is that I've taken, and I made an X here. Here's the X, okay? And we're going to remove stuff. And once we remove all the things based on what we talked about last night, okay, we're going to add up all the remaining scores, and we're going to see what the scores are. Right now, it's 82 to 82.8, okay? So Deathloop is off the charts, okay? Also, Hi-Fi Rush, not on the charts because apparently it was made before they owned Bethesda, okay? So that's off the charts. Age of Empire, off the charts, okay? Because it's an old remake. We're taking remakes and remasters off of the thing. Ghostwire, off the charts, okay? Redfall, off the charts because that was a game before they purchased it, so that's off the charts. Quake 2, off the charts. And Quake 1, off the charts as well. And then you have to take Modern Warfare off the charts because they just bought Activision, so that's not part of there. Okay, I think that's all the ones that we needed off of from last time. We have Deathloop, Ghostwire, Redfall, COD 3, Age of Empire 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Quake 1 and 2, right? So now we're going to take Spider-Man Remaster that came out on the PlayStation 4. That's off the list, okay? Demon's Souls, that's a remaster remake. We're taking that off the list. We're taking Uncharted, the Legacy, that's a remaster. That's off the list. Last of Us Part 1 remaster, that's off the list. Ghost of Tsushima, that's a director's cut. That's off the list. Death Stranding, that's off the list. I'm sorry, that's Death Stranding. That's Returnal. That's Death Stranding. That's off the list. We're taking Last of Us Part 2 off the list. We're taking Helldivers off the list because that is a second party, not a first party. And we're taking Stellar Blade off the list because that is also not a first party title as well. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. So what this does, okay, is that we've removed all the games. So let's get a rectangle here. Let's see, shapes. Let's get a rectangle going on here. We'll cover this up. Okay, we'll cover that up. We'll cover this up. Okay, and we'll change the color because I don't want people complaining it's not PlayStation color. Okay, then we'll also change this up here. We'll remove all. We removed all the remasters based on the conversations we had last night. Okay, we're going to remove all of the remasters down here and the total for that as well. Okay, let's change that to blue. Okay, so now we're going to take the remainder. No, they told me to keep Starfield. If you want me to remove Starfield, Altern, I will remove it. But Starfield apparently not my from the talks last night. Starfield was remade, rebooted, I guess, redone. Right? I'll remove it. Do you want me to remove it? I have no problem removing it. Returnal is first party. Yeah, Returnal's there. Gotta go. All right, so we're removing Starfield. Okay, we're removing Starfield. I'm okay with it. Okay, we're removing Starfield. Starfield must go. Okay, so there you go. So all of Bethesda's gone. All of Activision's gone, and the remakes and remasters are gone. Okay? Okay? So now we're going to take the remainder. Okay? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. Okay? So let's get a thing here. Let's put 12 games. Okay, we got 12 games up here. Games. Let's get the outline effect going on here. We'll make that black so we can see it. Make it nice and thick. Why is that? We're making it. Why is it white? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. There we go. 12 games. Okay. Now we'll take this. How many games we have here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we got 17 games over here. So we got 17 games versus 12 games that came out. Okay, now obviously there's 3, 4 MLB The Show games, so there's that. So now I gotta zoom in, and we gotta make sure we get the. Oh, hold on. Let me go here so I can actually see. Okay, so we got Gear Tactics 83. We got Microsoft Flight Sim 92. We got Psychonauts 89. We got Forza Horizon 92. We got Halo 86. We got Duskfall 78. Okay. We got Pendament 86. Okay. We've got. Hold on. I can't get over there. We got Grounded 83. Okay. We got Age of Empires 83. We got Minecraft Legends of 70. We're removing the 85 for Starfield. We got an 84 for Forza and 81. All right, so let's add this up, shall we, chat? Let's add this up. Let me put it in the database here. 83, 92, 89, 92, 86, 78, 83, 83, 86, 83, a 70. Well, that's gonna bring the score down. We got an 84 plus an 81. Okay, and we divide that by what? 12 games. Okay, so I got the score. I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet. Okay. Okay. So that's Xbox. Now let's go to the PlayStation. We got 93. We got an 84 for Astro's Playroom. We got a 62 for Destruction All-Star. Oh, that's going to hurt. We got an 80 from Stackboy. We got an 88 for Horizon Forbidden West. We got an 87 from Gran Turismo. Okay. We have an 85 from Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, we got 86 from Returnal. We got a 77 from MLB The Show. We got an 81 from MLB The Show 23. We have a MLB Show 78. We have an 80 from Horizon Mountain. We have an 88 from Ratchet and Clank. We have a 65 from Firewall Ultra. Okay, we have a 77 from Ronin. We have a 91 from Spider-Man. And then we have, what's the last one? Got a 75 from MLB The Show. Okay. So let's add that up. This is exciting, chat. This is exciting. Okay. Let's add this up. We got 93 plus 84 plus 62 plus 80 plus 88 plus 87 plus 85 plus 86 plus 77 plus 81 plus 78 plus 80 plus 88 plus 65. That's going to hurt. Plus 77 plus 91 and plus 75. Okay, and that's divided by, how many did we say? What was the final count for that one? 17. Okay. So I got the totals. I got the totals. Okay. Okay. All right, we got the totals. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put 0 there for a second. And we're gonna put okay. So all we did here, okay. Again, this is from OpenCritic. Right? You can take from Metacritic. You can take from whatever thing that you want to do. Okay. Okay. You can do whatever you want to do to figure out what you feel is the best game for you. All I'm showing here is, okay, before I give you the totals, is that gaming on both platforms is the same. They're pretty close. The original picture shows 82.0% to 82.8%. Okay. With the 7 remasters from PlayStation, the 4 remasters from Xbox, that's a lot of fucking remasters. Let's be honest. Okay. There's a lot of remasters, and that's not including the remasters we got from third-party games. Okay. This generation, I have to say, pretty underwhelming as far as from both sides. Pretty underwhelming as far as 4 years into the actual cycle. Okay. So the total for PlayStation is 83.9%, which went up after you take out all the other games that you guys told me to take out, the remasters and the ones that they didn't own, right? Because that's what you wanted me to do. So it's 83.9. It went up. It went up. Okay. And PlayStation is 81%. Okay. So PlayStation has 81%. So it's actually based on the rules that you guys told me, based on the games that you wanted me to remove and take out because they didn't own certain things and they're not first-party titles. Xbox has a higher OpenCritic score than Sony. Okay. 83.9 to 81%. Okay. PlayStation actually dropped, okay, 1.8%. And Xbox went up, okay, 2.9%. I'm sorry, 1.9%. 1.9%. Let me see what you guys are saying up here. Returnal released as a second-party game. So are we removing Returnal now? Are we removing Returnal? Should I recount the Returnal? Rise of Ronin doesn't count either. Rise of Ronin doesn't count? Do you want me to take that off as well? This is what I love. I don't give a shit either way. You know what I mean? I don't care either way. Of course I removed Redfall. Because it's part of Bethesda. So we had to remove Starfield, Redfall, Ghostwire, Deathloop. Based on your own rules. These are not my rules. These are the rules that you guys didn't want certain games to count. Right? The normal picture, I think, is fine. Okay, but people started going, well, Deathloop shouldn't count for that. Deathloop shouldn't count for Xbox because it was a PlayStation thing. Well, you can't count Hi-Fi Rush and Age of Empires, and you should get rid of all the remasters. So that's exactly what we fucking did. Remove IPs that Sony doesn't own. We'll just have like one game left, and that'll be it. It says this game versus this game. Okay? Again, this is just for fun, right? To show that no matter what console you like, they're around the same. Okay? They're around the same. 82 out of the games that come out by the end of this year, we will have 27 games for Xbox within the first 4 years of release. Okay? And by the end of the first 4 years, okay, we're going to have 29. So 27 games to 29 games. Both companies releasing the exact same amount of games, okay? One's releasing more remasters than the other, okay? The 3 extra remasters. You started something now? I didn't start anything. All I did was take what Colt Eastwood put out here, okay? And showed exactly, like, everyone talks that Xbox is shit, PlayStation is shit, this is better, yet they're 0.8 away from each other in the games that they've released and with the Metacritic, or not Metacritic score, but the OpenCritic score. No, it wasn't Mo. It was actually PlayStation. It was actually PlayStation people complaining that they can't have Deathloop and they can't have Ghostwire because of those things. And they said those were made by Bethesda, and that's before Bethesda got bought by Microsoft. And I said, well, if that has to go, then Redfall has to go, and Hi-Fi Rush has to go. This chat is just a bunch of box-loving babies. Keep removing till you win. Somebody did somebody sub earlier? I missed something earlier. Someone thanks for the sub if I missed it. I was deep in thought. Alien earlier said, if the starship is female, why not the Force? That's true, Alien. That's true. One game versus one game. Xbox owned ZeniMax long before Redfall and Starfield. That's not true. They bought Bethesda in 2021, and not Redfall. Hi-Fi Rush was started in 2019. I'm just going back reading what you guys are saying. This is so silly it makes my head hurt. It's just for fun. But do you see how everyone wants to remove things because they want that number? They're like, well, you can't have that game. You can't have that game, right? Didn't Deathloop come out a whole year before? Yeah, that's why we removed it. This is how it all started. I said, look, it's 82.8. And someone's like, well, Deathloop and Ghostwire can't be there because it was PlayStation exclusives. I said, okay, well, we'll remove those. And then everyone's like, well, if you remove that, then you have to remove this. And I went, okay, well, then we'll remove that. Right? Like, I don't care. Right? I always say to people that play the fucking games that you want to play. My thing's not about who's got the better box. My thing is about the fucking corporations that try to dick you over with the microtransactions, the shitty monetization, the shitty business sense, and what they're trying to do with the company, what they're trying to do with the industry. Okay, I don't give a shit where you play video games. Okay, right? Because technically, I would have to get rid of the baseball games of MLB The Show as well, because those are also on Xbox, right? Like, so I gotta remove that as well, right? In the end, we'll end up playing 6 or 7-year-old games on all systems. Yeah, I'm playing a 16-year-old game right now. Right? What it really does tell me, once we break it down into, once you remove the remasters, okay, there's not many games that have come out this cycle, right? This generation. Right? Xbox is averaging 3 games a year of their first-party titles, right? And PlayStation's, I mean, obviously MLB The Show comes out every single year, so that's 4 games. So release, take 3 away from that, right? You're down to 14. So you have 14 games to 12 games, right? There's not a lot of games coming out from the first-party companies. I'm playing a new game. I'm playing Stellar Blade. Right, but 60... What was that stat? Majority of people are playing 6 games, right? The majority of people playing video games right now are playing 6 games, and everybody else is playing 7-plus-year-old games. Yeah. Rose, you are the 0.001% of the people. If I remove those from the list, let me see. Let's see how much it changes if I take the baseball scores off, right? That is... Got to remove a 75. You got to remove a 81. You got to remove a 77. And you got to remove a 78. All right, so let's see what the average is now if I One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 13. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, so let me 1066. Yeah, so it goes up from an 81 to an 82 if you get rid of all the baseball ones. So basically it goes back to the normal score. It actually loses 0.8 from the original score. If you remove all the stuff that we removed, it's still an 83.9 to an 82. When you remove the IP and devs Sony don't own, it's like a house of cards. Regardless of what it is, though, Paul, right? With all the stuff back on, right? All the stuff back on, the game companies are not that far apart. Okay? Again, right now they're up 5 games on Xbox, right? This is the original picture. Okay? They're up 5 games. So just taking as is, right? And I think we're missing one, right? Oh no, we found out last night that Foam Stars is a Ubisoft, right? Or Square Enix. Right? So this is all the games that are out. And by the end of this year, you're going to have 27 games. Okay? 27 games to 29 games. Time to continue playing my PlayStation 2 emulator. I find it interesting that the numbers say that Xbox is better, but public perception of Sony is better. But that's just it. The public perception of something and what it actually is, right? And this is like the facts of what it is. Obviously, this is OpenCritic. You can go to Metacritic, you can go to Rotten Tomato, you can go whatever thing that you want to grab. Okay, the average scores, right? Like you look at the games that came out, and Redfall was a 57. It was an absolute garbage fest. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 right here has got a 58. Okay, they're saying that's just as bad as Redfall. But then if you go down to PlayStation, Firewall Ultra and Destruction All Stars is also bad. Okay. So both companies have bad games. Both companies have mediocre games. Both companies have really good games. Now, obviously, PlayStation has like 3 or 4 games in the 90s, but they also have lower games in the 70s. Right? So your public perception of something and what the rest of the population thinks, I mean, this is it. 0.8. 0.8 away. Right? What's 0.8? It's like minuscule. And this is what I always talk about, right? Like it's a plastic box. And you guys fight over it like it's some like there's vast superiority over one or the other. No, they're in the industry together. They do this exactly what it is. They're in the market together, right? I would love if someone did the OpenCritic of the Mario games and whatnot for all Nintendo first-party games that came out. Obviously, there'd be a lot more first-party games because they've been out for 7 years instead of 4, okay? But no one ever uses Nintendo to compare against any of these guys because they would get blown away. They get blown away. Jason says Xbox never recovered from the Xbox One reveal in 2013. Since then, they've always been in a distant third place to consumers. But they've always been in third place. They've always been in third place. They came close to not being in third place, but they've always been in third place. Right, Dave? Yeah. 0.8 victory. Yay. Right? Maybe I'll go on my own time and look up what the OpenCritic scores of all the first-party games that came out for Nintendo, and we'll do that score. I guarantee you their percentage is in the 90s. I guarantee it. I guarantee you it'll be leaps and bounds. It'll be close to the 90s. It'll be like 89 to 90%. But I feel like the 360 had a great rep. Oh yeah, the 360 was the best, right? It was the best reception, public perception, but still didn't sell anywhere near what other consoles sell. I think it was it 82 million? Here, we always go back to this. I should put this on my hotbar. Xbox 360 sold 84 million. Yeah, 84 million. I agree, Rose. Nintendo would be like definitely in the 90s. Right? But obviously when people want to move the goalpost, they don't want to bring in the people that they're going to lose against, right? They're like, I'm the best fighter in the world. Well, let's bring Timmy in. Well, no, Timmy's better than me. I don't want to fight him. You know what I mean? Like that's just it. Nintendo will be like the old martial master with the long white beard. Don't mess with. It just comes in and be like, ha ha ha, that's so cute. 82. Right? They would absolutely destroy. At the end, we all know that PlayStation saw its tweet in performance mode in 60 frames per second. I say 92, 93. Yeah. So, look, we all like to hype up or shit talk the other side or whatever it is, right? You're like, well, this game's awesome. That's great, right? There's games that sell well that are closing down. There's games that are shit, but they're also still working. Okay? No rhyme or reason. Okay? There's people right now, Hyperbox or Hypercharge Unbox has nothing to do with Xbox, right? It's an independent developer. There's people on the Sony side giving shit to the developers of 6 people that created a game. Okay? Now, obviously, the person that's giving shit to them is one idiot that happens to be a Sony guy. Doesn't mean that all Sony people are bad, but you got to claim them, okay? Because they're happy they sold 50,000 units, and they're like, that's shit. You understand this is not an Xbox thing, right? It's just that they sold 50,000 units on Xbox since it came out. The game's been out since 2017, but people can't get around their heads about plastic boxes. All Nintendo needs to do is say 3 games: Mario Kart, Zelda, and Mario World. The end. Mario Kart alone is God of War, Spider-Man, and I think combined, right? God of War 1 sold like 33 million, and Spider-Man sold like 33 million, something like that. 30 million, 33 million, whatever, something like that. Both of those combined equal what Mario Kart alone sold. Both very successful games, God of War and Spider-Man, right? But both of them equal to what Mario Kart sold. Right? People are looking at, oh, well, Call of Duty sold 30 million copies. It's like, yeah, Princess Peach sold 30 million copies too. You know what I mean? Like, right, Jason, and that's the big thing, right? When Mario Kart sells 61 to 64 million copies, I can guarantee you Mario Kart didn't cost them $300 million. You're right. COD sold 40 million. Mario Kart says, hold my beer. Let me see. We have this. Yeah. So even their games that you know nothing about, right? Ring Fit. Okay. 15.38. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, 15 mil. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, 15. Pokemon Legends, 14. Luigi's Mansion. How popular is Luigi's Mansion? It literally sells almost 15 million copies. Splatoon, 13 million copies. Super Mario Wonder, 13.4 million copies. Look at that. Kirby's Forgotten Land, which is like a... You look out on the store shelf, you're like, I'm not... No one's buying that, right? 7 million. That's what Sony brags about for their Spider-Man game. We sold 7 million copies. Congratulations, you sold as much as Kirby. I know my son's got Kirby, but just put in perspective though, right? The public perception of something. Okay, everyone's like, "Oh my God, Spider-Man sold 7 million copies." It cost them $300 million to make. It sold 7 million, 10 million now, right? But meanwhile, Kirby probably cost them like $50 million. So what do you think is more profitable? A $300 million game selling 7 million copies, or a game that's less than 50 mil selling the exact same amount at a higher price, by the way? Splatoon, I didn't know sold almost 12 million copies. Splatoon 3, almost 12 million copies. And that's the one that people didn't like. Meanwhile, Splatoon 2 sold 13.6. How much would Kirby cost now to make? Kirby came out in 2024. That's the newest one. Their games don't cost anywhere near the price of what Sony and Xbox are costing on AAA games. Right, I'll turn. The spider who dressed superhero versus the VRS, a pink ball. That's what I'm saying, Paul. Right? Nintendo is on a different playing field. Okay? Hence why when they bring up, we talk about this all the time, right? When Xbox and PlayStation went for like these high-end super graphics, Nintendo's like, we'll just make a handheld. We'll go like 2 generations behind for graphics, right? They sell more consoles, they sell more software. I would not think that Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 14.25 million copies. That's insane. Despite the lower production cost, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox still make billions more in profit annually. I don't know. I mean, obviously, Sony as a company and Xbox or Microsoft as a company make a shit ton more money. But what Nintendo's doing, right? What Nintendo's doing, I mean, obviously, Microsoft makes more money off of military contracts than they do anything else. Right? Nintendo, you can still look up what the sales are. They're not hiding anything. Microsoft doesn't show anything. What Nintendo's doing is working for them, plain and simple. What they're doing is working. Nintendo doesn't have to come out with a hit for like 10 years. Right? They literally had a whole console fail. The Wii U failed. And they're like, whatever. Do we understand that how many consoles they've sold with all their handhelds and stuff? Nintendo DS, the Switch, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 3DS, right? It's ridiculous. It's and my whole point to this is PlayStation Xbox fans always fight against each other, but they never want to bring in the little brother into the conversation because they know that their little brother's more successful. I saw a stat today. I don't know. I didn't save it. It was talking about the sales of the Xbox for compared to the Xbox One within a certain period of time, and they said that the Xbox is like 40 million behind schedule or whatever. Schedule, I don't know what that means because like, what's the schedule? You have no idea what the lifespan is anyway. But in the amount of months that the Xbox has been out and the same amount of time that the Xbox One was out, they're like, oh, well, this is behind. But I'm like, but you still have like another 13 to 22 months or whatever it is. Which is still half, right? It's at half of what the life cycle or the lifespan of what the Xbox One was. Which people... Did you know 2.7 million people bought an Xbox One last year? 2.7 million people bought an Xbox One last year. We are what, 10, 11 years into that console cycle, and 2.7 million people bought on a new Xbox One last year. Like, what? Nintendo on Tuesday logged a record net profit of 490 billion yen, 3.2 billion. Is that for the quarter, Paul? Maybe they get confused since Xbox does a really bad job of naming their consoles. Perhaps. But the fact that you can still play on the Xbox One, like, you can literally play Starfield on the Xbox One. You can still play Starfield on the Xbox One. I think it goes through the cloud, and it's off of, I think, a S server blade, I believe. That was 23-24 profits. Gotcha. I'm just amazed that a system that's been out 11 years is selling almost 3 million copies. Right, their profits are their margins are bigger. Their margins are bigger, Paul. Right? See, like, stuff like this is what companies love to show you, because big number means, right? Oh, well, it must be impressive. It must be a good game, right? Marvel Rivals, 1 million wish lists completed. We want to give a galactic-sized thank you for all the support, right? So they're like, oh, see, 1 million people are interested in this game. That's not sales, right? It's just wish list. You could think of it sales, but then something else comes along and they're like, right? Plus, isn't this game free to play? I think it's free to play, right? If I want to say they said like 11 million in 2 weeks. I don't know if they know the lifetime, though. Uh-oh, guys, watch out. Concord will need a PlayStation account. I mean, I don't know why. We can stop reporting on this, right? We can stop reporting on PlayStation games need a PlayStation account. Can we stop reporting this now? We know going forward, since Helldivers 2, any game that comes out from PlayStation on other platforms, PC, if it ever comes to Xbox, you need a PSN account. Can we all get that now? We don't have to keep reporting it. That's what it is. I think Ron is the reporter. Everyone's still shocked. They're like, I can't believe it. It's going to be the same across the board. Destiny 2 had over 314,000 players on Steam yesterday. Almost beat the game's all-time peak at 316. Despite the server issues, the final shape appears to be a big success for Bungie and Sony. Imagine all the people if they didn't stop playing. There's a lot of people here that not going back to play. Pretty easily made like 400,000. There's a lot of people that don't play Destiny anymore. How true is this? So yesterday, remember we talked about the 8K being removed? I said it's photoshopped. Apparently, there's articles now being written about it, but I'm not gonna. We're not gonna talk about that yet. A lot of us stopped playing years ago, Motasbo, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Destiny's been on PC for what, 6 years? 6 years? 5 years? And 314 or 316 million is the peak. Gotta be much more people than playing than that. I just bought the Legacy Collection for Destiny for like $11. What does the Legacy Collection get you, Nate? What does it get you? Because you're still missing content from it, and that's what pisses me off. Every time I hear Destiny news, my dreams of the management team being fired fade away faster and faster. Eclipse says, I got it for free with Epic a while ago. Don't really care because I don't play the game, but it's there. No, I want to know what you get, though, for the Legacy. And that version's $99.99 with missing content. That's my problem, Rose. I forgot that all it came with. And the Light Bear or something. And 2 other campaigns, it said. I mean, it's probably still a great value. I mean, you got it for real cheap. I just wanted to know what it came with. $11 is a good price for any kind of game. I think it's stupid that you can't play the game that when it came out. Like, you can't play the Red War. Go on, Cisco. That's my biggest problem. I just saw something on Twitter. Man gets denied a plate and walks off. So a photographer at a wedding, he's taking all the pictures, and he wanted to eat something, and the bride said no. So he deleted all her photos and then left the wedding because he was denied food. Like, you feed your... For fuck's sake. You feed your people that you brought there, like you paid for. Bife has a 10-hour vid. 10 hours. I ain't fucking watching that. 10 hours. I'll just skip to the last hour. You got to feed. Right? So I paid at my wedding, right? My best friend was one of my photographers because he's that's what he does, right? So I paid for his plane ticket, his hotel, okay? And he got to bring a guest for free photos. Now, obviously, it's not free photos, but I gave him a vacation. He went to Disney World and stuff afterwards, right? So he got to come to Florida, and he got a hotel, food, right? Plane ticket, in for the pictures. He did the photography and the video. I watched the last 2 hours yesterday. So do you know the ending first? Do you know the ending of Destiny now? Is it worth it? Fallout Place has like a 20-minute one, I think. All right. That's much more bearable. I know up to this season. Oh, okay. I want to know this season. I want to know the ending. I don't know if they already have it on YouTube. Probably not. If you guys want a good game, I don't know if it's on sale everywhere, but 50% off of Minecraft Dungeons. It's a good game. It's a fun game if you have kids. 50% off. Kate is a traveler. Just kidding. I have no idea. Or do you? Now you just ruined it. Thanks a lot, Matasbo. Thanks fucking a lot. I don't care. I haven't watched anything on the season. My kid decided to start playing and asked me to play with him. Now Willow and I are playing the season. Got suckered in. Yeah. Blame your kid first. I got you. Sure. How dare you, sir? How dare you blame your child? Your son's the same age as mine, right? He's like 8 or 9. I wasn't going to play. I wasn't going to play, but now my son asked me to play. I got to go back in. What am I missing on Destiny? Just the new stuff? No, you're missing a lot of stuff. But if you don't know, then you don't care. Do you know what I mean? You're good, Nate. Just enjoy what you got. Oh, so now not only are you throwing your kid underneath the bus, but now you're throwing your wife underneath the bus first. I thought you were better. Like, my kid wanted to play, and my wife was like, well, he would sure like to play with you. I want the whole game. It's impossible. It's impossible. The way Destiny is structured, the stuff that they put in the game and took away, they're never bringing back. So you don't know what you're missing. The only way you would know what you're missing is if you had it originally. Right? You can pay for it, but you can't play it. I don't think anyone can play the Red War. Perfect, brain. We don't have time to explain what we don't have time to explain. Yeah, just enjoy your game, Nate. Yeah, we don't have time to explain it because it's just too complicated. You can only play like you're missing out on seasons, right? You're missing stories within the seasons. I'm not sure how they do that. You're missing the entire Destiny 2 front story, right? Like, how do they... I'm asking if anyone's playing. How do you lose your power? Do you lose your power? Half the universe is missing. I forgot about the planets. Yeah, I forgot about the planets that were missing. Argus says we're 20-something seasons in, my friend, and they're all gone, but the new one. You aren't getting them back. Half the universe is missing. Now, you can buy the season armor for $10. Can play Forsaken, and that was the best year. Sure, but is everything for Forsaken there? All the locations are there? They'll release the full game for 450 gigs. Oh, I guarantee you they'll release the entire game down the road. No, you boot up the game and you start at 1900 light level. Holy Jesus. You can't get the seasons. You can get all the expansions. You can't get the seasons. You can get all the expansions. Except the Red War, right? You can't get the Red War or anything about the Red War. So what do they do for that part of the story? Back in my day, you had to grind. Are you going to tell that to your kid first when you play? Be like, "Oh, you're 1900. I was forever 29." Yeah. Make sure you have those dailies to bank. Then the new season starts. And we were so programmed. Oh, yeah, we would do that. I would get everything done, and then when the new season started, we were done with it. You grind your ass off before the season came out. And when the new season came out, you would complete it in 30 seconds. You can do the missions, just can't freedom on old planets. Got it. You don't have the freedom on the old planets. So the missions are there, but the planets aren't there. Interesting. Okay. They mix D1 with D2. You don't lose your powers. You only appear as in D1. Talk to dude in Earth, and then off you go. Nothing else explained. Just play. I guess that's it then. I guess that is it. That's it. You just get in there. We don't have time to explain what we don't have time to explain. We need you to get in there and get for Eververse. Do they explain the Eververse to you right when the game starts? I bet you they do. I bet you they do. No, you don't get the base game, which was Red War. You don't get Curse of Osiris or the Warmind expansions. You don't get any of that. You don't get any of those, huh? Interesting. That's $100 worth of content that's missing. 120. 120. Can you still get the ramen ticket? Oh, yeah, I remember that. I have a real question. During the Guardian games, okay? During the Guardian games, that trophy that people got, did they ever make it better? Did they ever make it better? I remember when that trophy got out the very first time, and people were like, "The fuck is that?" We thought it was going to be some giant thing that was there to show off. It was like this little trophy about this big. So when are you downloading Final Shape? Not this year. Maybe if they bundled it all together. I'm really shocked what's going to happen after this. Like, let's talk about 9 months after, down the road, a year after the road, right? What happens, right? Are they selling the game? Is it going to be like, get Destiny 2 in one big, nice little, tidy little box? Like, what's happening? Are they going to support it down the road? Like, what are they doing? I keep bringing this up. Destiny 1, right now, you can go buy Destiny 1 and have all of Destiny 1. You can play it online. You can play it offline. You can play it single player. You can play it co-op with the bud, right? You can go through all the missions. It's there. You can't do that with Destiny 2. Bungie abandons it and Microsoft buys it. Oh no, that's not happening. If Bungie ever gets away from Sony, they will not have Destiny. Sony will own Destiny. And then they will make their 343. And Bungie will go off and make another IP. To then get in bed with Amazon. And then Amazon will own their next company, or their next IP. The statue has remained the same. One same size every year since the first year. Amazing. Amazing. And all the weapons are back in the game, right? All the weapons that they took away because of sunsetting, those are back in the game. I see a twinkle in your eye every time we talk about a stripper ex-girlfriend. You're hallucinating. You're 100% hallucinating, Dolphin. Don't project onto me. Just because you're a weak man and you have to play Destiny, don't project onto me. Any news? Got any news? I don't think there's any other news happening this morning. I don't play Destiny. She plays me. Altered says, so how's that great $140 tower going? If you kept them, yes, unsunsetted. If not, then there's no, they aren't still in the game to receive. Wait a minute. If you kept them, so I have my guns, and if I didn't delete them, I can log back. Oh, there's a twinkle. I can still use the guns that I used 10 years ago in the game today, if I still have them, or 7 years ago. If not, then no, they aren't still in the game's receive. Interesting. So I could use a gun that's 7 years old in the game, but do they nerf it in some way, shape, or form? Oh, no, I'm not going back, Morcat. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about me. I'm not going back. I'm just asking. The reason I'm asking is because I said, I used to do a Destiny podcast. And on that podcast, I said that I wanted to keep my guns and play. If I wanted to use that Fatebringer for 10 years, let me use the Fatebringer. Everyone's like, no, we got to sunset the guns. You can't be using the guns like that 10 years from now. Why would you want to do that? I go, don't worry what I want to fucking do. I want to keep a gun. Let me keep a gun. Okay, and now here we are 10 years later, and I could use the fucking gun. Imagine that. No nerf. Got it. I thought you were like, no nerd. Right, I'll turn. Yeah. And I'm the madman. The Red Death just came back, and it's fun. I have all my old guns. Every single one of them. I never deleted them. Isn't there a way to look? Here, I'll show you what guns I have. That's lore. Can I look at my that's collection. Isn't there a way to look at your inventory? Destiny Item Manager. That's what it is. Let's see what my inventory looks like. All right, here's my inventory. What do I got here? I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of stuff. Got the Lonesome, Witherer, No Time to Explain. I got the True Prophecy, Dusk Rock Bullets. I got Toll and Trouble. What do we got? We got Ace of Spades. God, I wish I told you like when you got them. I got the Bad Juju. The last time I played is when you got the Bowcaster. That's the last time I played. Lord of Wolves, Hard Light. Oh, the Gnawing Hunger. I remember that. I forget. That's the Queen Breaker. This is the one that you had to get, the Trinity Ghoul. Telesto. Fucking Telesto. Prometheus Lens. There's the gun I used to love. Good old Fatebringer. Season 14, year 4. I still think they should have let me bring my guns from Destiny 1 in. Bad Juju got buffed not too long ago. They just did a 35% pulse rifle buff this season on top of the exotic premium. Premium's doing an additional 30% more damage to the red bars these days, Mike. They made the change. Telesto the besto. Ah, the Telesto. To get people to use the exotic primaries was 40% until the season. I should play Cyberpunk. Maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I will. I do own it. I do own it thanks to Brainchild. No, Fatebringer did get... Fatebringer from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 didn't exist until later in Destiny 2 when they put it back in the game. All right, what do we got here? All right, don't forget tonight, Shooting the Shit with Sarge. We're going to be playing some Star Wars Battlefront 2. Tomorrow night, we have the podcast, Generation X Gaming. Friday evening, we're going to be watching Summer Game Fest, and then Devolver Digital and whatever else is on Friday night. We're also going to be watching stuff on Saturday afternoon and then also Sunday afternoon this week. So if you guys like all the Summer Game Fest stuff, come on out. Hang out with me as we watch it and discuss and have a conversation and good times. That's all this weekend. Cyberpunk, best ongoing game. Crafted weapons and enhanced perks are the meta now, though, Mike, which you obviously missed out on somewhat, but not completely until now. It's okay. I'm not going back, Argus, so it doesn't matter. No, I didn't try the Avatar game, Nate. Never tried it. Mike's like, I'm not getting any dirty thoughts. I had to go to the doctor. I'll be honest with you, Dolphin. I got this goddamn cough lingering, so I gotta go to the doctor and see what it is. So I'm gonna go eat lunch, and then I'm gonna go to the doctor's. So you guys have a good one. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one tonight. Peace.